everybody, Catfish Jones here on another gorgeous Wednesday, this time the 5th of July, and I'm just kicking back, enjoying myself, reflecting a little bit on the concept of liberty, and certainly spending some time with my family. Hope you guys all got a chance to do the same. Was going to bring a completely different song to the vlog today, but instead, after talking to my family, a song came up that I wouldn't normally associate with the Catfish catalog, and I really felt compelled to include it in today's vlog. I'm going to play it and then maybe talk about it a little bit, if I can play it correctly. It's one that really requires correct playing to really get the thought across. A lot of why I don't include it in the catalog, but let me share it with you and we'll see how it goes. This song's called Delta Vee. To move me, I need Delta Vee. What's it gonna take to change my velocity? What's it gonna take to move me? I need Delta Vee. Yeah. Spaceflight boils down to moving from one orbit to another. And because each orbit has a specific velocity associated with it, spaceflight is all about velocity. Since velocity determines which orbit you're in, it's easy to decide how much velocity you need to change to get to any given orbit. That change is Delta Vee. What's it gonna take to move me? I need Delta Vee. What's it gonna take to change my velocity? What's it gonna take to move me? I need Delta Vee. I can't figure it out now. A change of velocity is equal to the exhaust velocity, or gravity times impulse times the natural logarithm of initial mass divided by final mass. Delta Vee. What's it gonna take to move me? I need Delta Vee. What's it gonna take to change my velocity? What's it gonna take to move me? I need Delta Vee. Yeah. Everything is always orbiting something. Everything is always orbiting something. Everything is always orbiting something. Everything, it's always orbiting something else. So that song is called Delta Vee, which is math terms for change in velocity, and it's kind of how you, in space travel, determine how much velocity you need to move to another orbit, and you need to know that, so you need to know how much fuel to bring with you. You have to decide how much you weigh at the beginning of your space flight with all the fuel, and then by the time you get up into space, you have to use that equation, the initial mass divided by final mass, or whatever the equation is, the final mass being what mass you have when it's time to make that change in velocity. So as you can imagine, you have to figure that out ahead of time, so you bring enough fuel to change your velocity to get to the right orbit, do whatever you need to do, and then come back home, or whatever the case may be. And Delta Vee is important in all of those things. As you can further imagine, as you burn fuel, your mass changes, and so you have to keep that equation factoring for every bit of fuel you expend in changing your velocity. Thus, by the time you finished your burn to get to the correct orbit you want to be at, your mass has changed from that final mass to now this final mass, and hopefully you brought enough fuel with you to be able to do what you got to do and come on home. So that's where that comes from. Of course, for me, this is playing some various space sim video games that have a realistic-ish spacescape, a solar system of some type or another, whether it's specifically Sol or some other star. And that's kind of one of the things I get way too nerdy into. Sorry I had to share it with you this time, but I thought it made for a good vlog. If you're interested in some of that other stuff, you can probably Google Gunther Skunk and find it. But like I say, it's not really a catalog I tend to associate with Catfish Jones, just because it's a lot of my throwaway stuff, songs that, you know, might not really represent me in a realistic way, or, you know, just some dump songs that I use to help get myself better at writing songs. And it's good for me to have that outlet. I like to use it for, you know, testing out video ideas and all these other artistic formats that I like to delve into. And, you know, I'm not afraid to admit that it's me. I'm not ashamed of the art by any means. I just don't think that it really does the Catfish Jones product a service. I think it really kind of takes away from it. But I thought it was a perfect chance to show a little bit today with my nerdism into rocket shot science and spacecraft and ship work and things like that. So hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to drop a like and let me know in the comments if you thought it was boring, and maybe you wake up and this vlog's almost over and you're like, wow, what happened? Don't worry, you didn't miss anything. Just Delta Vee. I've been Catfish Jones. Hope you guys have had a great week. I look forward to seeing you next week, when maybe I'll get to talk about some of the artwork I've been doing and some of the visual work towards layers and whatnot from there. Until then, have a good one. We'll see you later. Cheers.